Okay, I'm doing it. This is the AMA that you guys, well, didn't ask for, but asked questions for. I was going to film inside, but it is legitimately so nice today. It's kind of scary because I live in the mountains, and it shouldn't be the temperature that it is. 57. It's almost 60 degrees right now. We're at the end of January. We should have feet of snow on the ground right now, and we don't. So it's nice to be outside, but a little scary that I am. Let's start out with some questions. I'm gonna start with the, how did you meet your husband? What do you do for a living? And how old is your child? So my husband and I met, we were both in high school, but we went to different high schools. We actually met at the restaurant that my dad managed. He worked there, and I would go hang out and help with the restaurant during big events or something. And that was the first time that I met Christian, was in the restaurant helping. The only thing I said to him then was, it's weird that you're the only guy on wait service. And he had some thoughts about me. But he knew that he couldn't ask me out because I was the boss's daughter. So then we met another time, again at the restaurant. He was working there, and I was bragging about my boyfriend at the time, and just being a very dumb 15-year-old, bragging about my boyfriend to this other man who took it very gracefully, to be honest with you. And then the last time we met, I was working there, like legitimately working there, and he was working at Round Table. And he came into the lobby to say hi to some friends, and I just, like, for no reason that I can recall, but this is very much not me, just ran into his arms. Like, oh my god, it's so good to see you, how are you? Like, he spun me around. It was very Hallmark movie, cheesy. And that was that. And we have been together for 17 years now. My child is almost 3. He'll be 3 in March. He's got quite the personality, as all 3-year-olds do. He's amazing. He's so smart. Every parent says that about their child. However, I do have a stepson, and you're going to see some timeline cross here, who is 16 going on 17. At the time that Christian and I got together, his ex was pregnant, and we didn't know. And when we found out, I, gave Christian total immunity to go back and be with her and try and mend that relationship if he wanted to. He made the choice not to, and I told him that if he wanted, as long as he wanted to be an active figure in his child's life, that I would stick around. But I wasn't going to be with no deadbeat dads. So I have an almost 17-year-old stepson and a 3-year-old little boy. And they are great together. What do I do for a living? I am a phlebotomist, actually, so I work in healthcare, sticking people with needles all day. So it feels like the majority of my life is spent within the walls of a hospital. This is my other toddler. This is Johnny. He's a good boy, but he's crazy. So yeah, and I got my phlebotomy license the same year that I was diagnosed with my cancer. I've had it for 12 years. I've only been working in healthcare for the last 7. Because obviously after I was diagnosed with my cancer, life got kind of crazy, and I had a really hard time finding a job. And the phlebotomy market was flooded at that time, and then treatments and traveling and disability and surgery all got in the way. We moved back up here, and then I nailed down a job at the same hospital that my mom used to work at. So life has come full circle. How do you cope emotionally with your health situation? Or how do you cope with the anxiety? That's a good question. I went through an intensive therapy program when I was 20, and I learned a lot of tools then on really how to cope and deal, and I practiced those a lot. it's hard to kind of regurgitate what it is, but one thing I really try to do actively is when I feel myself slipping into like a dark place and wanting to just like hide away, I reach out to people. I ask them how they are. I start a conversation, and it's not about me. I'm not reaching out to be like, oh yeah, no, I'm doing terrible. I reach out almost, you know, just to remind myself that there's other people out there and they're going through things too, and you're not alone. It helps to listen to other people and relate to them. And that's one of the bigger things that I do. I'm also a photographer, and if I have the time and energy and like mental space, I will just go out and take pictures and hope that I get some good ones. Being present with my toddler also helps, because there's nothing like a toddler to keep you in the present, make sure they don't fall off of something and hurt themselves. Being a boy mom is wild, y'all. Oh god. What's your favorite dinosaur? This question made me laugh. That would be the velociraptor, because she's the queen, she's tiny, she's ferocious, she don't give a shit. Like me. And she's a clever girl. What's your Starbucks order? A grande caramel latte with oat milk and 3 blonde shots. And depending on the day, I'll either get it hot or iced. And then this person asked, I'm just curious how you afford to fly back and forth every 3 weeks to treatment. It must be expensive. It is 1,000% expensive. The sponsor company only pays me back a very small amount of what I give them in receipts for travel and food and accommodations. So let's just say I've spent $8,000. That's lowballing it. Since the beginning of November when I first went out there. I've gotten $800-ish back. When I knew I was going to do this, I opened up a credit card just connected to the airline Delta that I fly, so that I could earn miles using that credit card. I've had a Sky Miles account forever, but it helps to have the credit card, and I wanted to have a card where I could only put my flights, so that they weren't adding to my other personal debt. My original intention was to put all of my travel, like flights and hotel and gas for travel and food, on that card, but it didn't come with a high enough credit limit. So all the other stuff has gone on my personal credit card, and that's racked up quite a bit of debt, and it's not making me comfortable at all. It's honestly one of the reasons that I'm sitting here going, I don't know how much longer I can do this trial for, or want to do this trial for. Thankfully, I got some help with that GoFundMe. That helped a lot. That helped pay off some big chunks. And while I was in Boston, back east, full-time, I was on disability. Now, the ironic thing is that I didn't get those disability checks until after I came back home. Like, that's when they got to me. So those also helped pay off some big chunks. But now that I'm back to work, I'm not collecting disability anymore. So I have some money in savings, and I'm trying to keep that money in savings as much as I can. You know, I also have other life bills to pay. I pay, Christian and I split our bills between the two of us because we don't share a bank account. So we just I pay this set of bills, he pays this set of bills. He is the more adultier adult in the relationship. While I was gone, he did pay for my portions of the bills, which was great. But yeah, overall it's expensive, and it could be a cause for me to end this trial earlier than I want. So anyways, that's the AMA. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your questions. They were good questions. I will see you guys next week. This is another travel week to Boston, so let's cross our fingers the travel actually goes as intended. All right? You guys have a good week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.